Buddha's teachings, anger and strength. Listening every day will help you gain self-control. It's undeniable that everyone sometimes encounters problems that worsen their mood. Some feel overwhelmed by life's burdens, others face unsatisfactory work, and still others grapple with relationship troubles. Each person finds their own way to resolve negative emotions. Some might vent by yelling, even scolding or hitting others to relieve frustration. In a person, qualities of good or bad often arise from circumstances. Someone who easily gets angry is usually used to being indulged, focused on themselves, and unconcerned about others, never putting themselves in someone else's shoes to consider the situation. In plain terms, it's selfishness. Commonly, we tend to get angry with our closest relatives and treat them more rudely than we would strangers. Sometimes we rely on the love they have for us and feel free to behave badly, flaring up at the slightest thing, demanding this or that without thinking about how we might hurt them. On one hand, we enjoy their love and care. On the other, we keep losing our temper. If that isn't selfishness, then what is? We need to look back at our own attitude and see if we should continue acting like this. In reality, only those who lack the strength to control themselves get angry easily. We all understand that losing our temper doesn't solve the problem. Instead, we need to face what displeases us, staying calm to analyze and find a way to resolve it. Think about how hot-headedness causes us to lose relationships, hurt others, and affect so many things. Once anger flares, it's impossible to keep a steady mind to engage with others or work normally. Even breathing becomes difficult, bringing no benefit at all. Therefore, don't assume it's normal to be easily angered. A person who cannot even control their own emotions only proves their selfishness and powerlessness. When we feel off balance, it's best to remain silent, because whatever we say at that moment is tainted by anger and won't be nice. Getting angry at someone we care about only leads to more anger when we dwell on it. We should know who deserves priority and who does not. If we can base our behavior on feelings, there's no need to cling to reason. Venting anger on someone who's not involved is simply inviting trouble, tormenting ourselves over someone else's faults, only harming ourselves in the end. Why do people get angry? Perhaps they hear groundless rumors, get stabbed in the back, are misunderstood, treated unfairly, or not respected enough. Sometimes, anger is unavoidable because joy, anger, love, hate are emotions that not everyone can control in life. If we've lost our temper, the best is to stop the conversation and wait until our minds calm down. Practice letting go of resentment, taking part of the responsibility, moving on from mistakes, and erasing sadness so that our work can expand and our lives become clearer and lighter. Initially, we come into this world because we have no choice but to be born. At the end of life, we leave because we have no choice but to die. What happens in between is up to each person's decisions. Each person has a distinct way of living. Some consider money, children, romantic gains and losses as life's main purpose. Others use gratitude, joyfulness, tolerance, and virtue as their guiding principles. Different choices lead to different life outcomes. When we are young, we may want many things. Lying on a hospital bed later in life, even if we want to take care of certain things, we can't, and our worries shift to those around us. Close friends may fear being asked for money, parents worry their child won't pull through, spouses fear the burden of illness, bosses fret over a gap in the workforce and can quickly snuff out sympathy. Medical professionals worry you may not have enough money. While prescribing treatment, they also remind you of hospital fees. At that moment, no matter how annoyed or arrogant you feel, you can't do anything. So while we still have our health, we must know how to look after ourselves and strive to live the life we desire. No one has it easy in this world. We taste sweet, spicy, bitter, and sour. We experience sadness and joy. Transforming a miserable life into something romantic, turning the world's indifference into deep affection that's real strength. Because nothing in this world is perfect. Once the sun is at its zenith, it must shift west. The moment the moon is fully round, it begins to wane. Thus, the most beautiful moments are often when the flower hasn't fully bloomed or the moon hasn't reached perfect fullness. That slight sense of incompleteness becomes eternal. Imperfection is life. When you can accept that, nothing remains a problem. Those who know how to bow their heads avoid banging against the doorframe. Those who yield the road don't have to jostle. Those who remain open-minded will advance. And those who know contentment will find complete happiness. We often feel troubled and restless when we have to let go of something. Some people want to let go but can't muster the determination. How can we do so? Let's read this story and reflect. A man with a sorrowful face asked a monk, "Master, why are there some things and some people I can't seem to let go of?" The monk replied, "There's nothing you cannot let go of." The man insisted, "But Master, why do I find it so hard to let go time and time again?" The monk told him to hold a cup while he poured tea. He poured until the tea overflowed from the cup, burning the man's hand. The man quickly set the teacup down. At that point, the monk said, "In this world, there's nothing you truly cannot put down. Once you feel pain, you'll naturally let go." Indeed, once we have fame, we find it hard to discard. Once we have wealth, it's hard to abandon. Once we have love, it's hard to relinquish. Once we have a career, it's hard to give up. These attachments persist because our minds still hold on to thoughts and illusions, and we're still attracted to them. Or perhaps the other person's behavior hasn't crossed our threshold of tolerance. In summary, we aren't in enough pain to let go. For instance, we find it difficult to relinquish love because deep down, we still hope or expect a future change, and we are hindered by desires. Indecisive people often vacillate, so they're slow to grasp and slow to let go. If such a person experiences a major life event or faces death, they might drastically change. If we adopt an open-minded perspective towards someone or something, regarding it more lightly, letting go becomes simpler. We suffer because we have so many desires. Each day, we obsess over them, so of course we feel exhausted. It's like buying too many things for a new house to satisfy our needs or desires. Years later, we realize the house is overloaded, including many items we never use. We think of throwing some away but don't know which ones, because each item has some sentimental value or memory. We can't bear to discard anything, so in the end, we keep it all and continue living in a cramped, suffocating space. But if one day the roof leaks and these items are soaked or ruined, it becomes easy to throw them out. That's because once we truly feel the pain, we naturally let go. In life, there are many things we should let go of, because clinging onto them only creates constraints. Have the courage to let go and live freely, finding joyful liberation. Our hearts grow heavy, and sorrow finds us when we see others as bad or suspicious. We forget a crucial aspect of life. If we think someone is bad, our mind was already bad first. If we think well of them, our mind was already good first. We only feel happy and full of energy when we see that no one around us is truly bad. If someone appears bad, it's just that they haven't yet had the right conditions to bring forth their goodness. Let's practice focusing on people's positive qualities, giving our minds many chances to rise upward. Try a day, a month, or a year without seeing anyone as bad. See if your mind doesn't feel lighter and more at ease. We should aim to be like a small flame in winter or a drop of water in summer, so that our spirit can be present in everyone's hearts. Beyond that, if we can't see the good in others, we can practice viewing them with a suchness perspective, simply as they are. The simpler our view, the purer and calmer our mind becomes. It might sound straightforward, but achieving such a perspective is far from simple. There are three main types of tasks in life. Our own business, for instance, what we do today, how we eat, whom we help, whether we are happy or sad, all are our own decisions. Other people's business, such as someone being lazy, someone's unhappy marriage, a person who deceives us, or someone who doesn't appreciate our help, these are decisions for others, not us. Heaven and earth's business, for example, rain, thunder, storms, natural disasters, epidemics, events outside human control. Most of our worries come from forgetting our own business, meddling in others' business, and being overly anxious about the affairs of the universe. To find peace of mind, just manage what's yours, don't meddle in others' affairs, and don't interfere with heaven's work. So whenever you feel troubled, examine whose business it truly is, and you'll know how to untangle it. If your finger is dirty, you don't cut it off. If a hat doesn't fit, you don't change the shape of your head. When one door closes, another expanse of sky will open. The question is whether you can see it. When you feel pain, the first thing to overcome is your own stubbornness. The question is whether you're willing to let go. People spend their lives working to afford bigger houses, but really, a humble thatched roof is enough to enjoy the joy of simplicity. In life, 3 essential keys are accept, change, and leave. If you can't accept something, change it. If you can't change it, leave it. An optimist uses a smile to mask sorrow. A pessimist only complains and forgets life's joys. Stop asking others why and ask yourself, what right do I have? People treat you well because you are also good to them, or because you hold some meaning for them. Don't expect everyone to understand you. They have their own interests and concerns. As long as you know what you're doing and where you're heading, that's enough. Improve yourself, create personal value, and the world will naturally appreciate you. Each person's life is singular, whether long or short. Life continues day by day, whether sad or happy. With each step on our journey, we either progress or retreat. No one is perfect, no task is flawless. Encountering petty people, don't bicker. Bickering only adds to your troubles. Facing complicated issues, don't brood. Brooding only brings fatigue. The world is vast, humanity is varied. How can you avoid ever meeting small-minded people? The dust of life is deep, affairs are complex. How can you avoid encountering sorrow? Think in moderation, view things openly. If you're wronged, remain silent. Once it's resolved, smile freely. Without the sun, listen to the wind and watch the rain. Without flowers, breathe in the scent of wild grasses. Without applause, enjoy the quiet of solitude. Seasons shift, years pass, no complaints, no grievances, no sadness, no scheming. Keep your heart calm, walk lightly in beautiful lands. Cherish genuine affection, maintain a positive attitude. When restraint is needed, take a deep breath to refresh yourself. Facing difficulties, calmly reflect and seek a new perspective. If you fail, stand up and try again to regain your confidence. Learn to face yourself, open your heart to life, practice forgiving mistakes so each day passes in peace. Approach work with humility and treat others with sincerity. No matter how many regrets or how much fatigue, how much luck or misfortune, what is past is all in the past. Once it's gone, let it go so your mind can be at ease. Whether a glorious success or an outstanding achievement, how many hardships or failures, if you gave it your all, there's no need for regret. There are so many things in life only we ourselves can do, and countless feelings only we ourselves can experience. A mind that is empty becomes a path that is clear. A heart that is narrow becomes obstructed. As human beings, we should value compassion and kindness. In our work, we shouldn't put law and reason above all else at the cost of forgetting human emotions. A year moves through 4 seasons: spring, summer, autumn, winter in order, but human life doesn't cycle back. We only get one chance to sow seeds and harvest. Why not do our best to make it a successful season? Life essentially consists of 3 days: yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Yesterday passes like clouds and streams, it's gone and cannot return. Today is here, but each moment it slides into the past. Tomorrow will come, only to become yesterday again. Blink an eye, it's a new year. Turn around, life is over. Only by letting go of yesterday and cherishing today can tomorrow arrive without regret. A lifetime of ups and downs. If you only live by emotion, you might sink into tragedy. But being overly rational can also become absurd. A journey without bumps and hurdles isn't really an achievement. Without suffering, how can it be called life? In this world, when you encounter benefits, don't seize them all. Worldly gains, no matter how you scramble, will never be fully exhausted. Know enough to stop. Even if you're right, don't pursue someone to the bitter end. Explanations of right and wrong in life can go on forever. Even if you win, you sacrifice kindness and gentleness. No matter how talented you are, never mock others. Comparing people to one another leads to hurt. Comparing objects leads to discarding one. If you're too cunning, you'll arouse fear. If you're too demanding, you'll meet resentment. If you're too arrogant, you'll be shunned. Overthinking leads to trouble. Paying too much attention can obsess you. Chasing too many goals can tire you out. Only if your heart feels content will your days be leisurely, allowing you to dwell in a life worth living. Time is not to be wasted. If you behave in an ordinary, unremarkable way, the good things in life drift further away. Life is not for surrendering. The more you evade, the smaller the place reserved for you. For some matters, don't belittle yourself or take a passive stance. You must be persistent, so your achievements don't end up in someone else's hands, leaving you resentful and tormented. For certain people, clearly state your viewpoint, so the world knows what you need and can respond. Don't let others decide for you. Don't live in blind obedience. If doing good deeds brings trouble, remind yourself that in this world there are those who appreciate every kindness, even a piece of candy, and remember it their whole lives. There are also those who think being helped is natural, only demanding more and blaming you if unsatisfied. If you encounter such people, see your help as an opportunity to be kind and accumulate merit for yourself. Life passes swiftly. If you can move beyond hollow fame and gain, you can reach the genuine. When you face complexities in life, resolve them gently and discard all unnecessary burdens so you can move forward. Yielding the road to someone else helps avoid trivial conflicts. Looking far ahead reveals the rainbow after the rain. Traveling light makes long journeys easier. Truly, the most beautiful scenery isn't captured by the eyes, but perceived by the heart. Deep affection doesn't need words. It is understood through action. Whenever things displease you, remember the nature of water. Soft, gentle, quietly accepting, transforming all things without contention or argument. If everyone could cultivate themselves to that level, why worry that the world wouldn't be peaceful and minds wouldn't be calm? When someone misunderstands you and you don't argue back, that is magnanimity. Whether something is true or not, time will give the best answer. When someone hurts you and you don't resent them, that is kindness. The warmth or chill of worldly affection will all be proven by time. When you are slandered but don't get upset, that shows your cultivation. Good or bad qualities eventually reveal themselves under the test of time. In life, it's not about how many things you can see through, but rather how lightly you can regard them. Whether your heart is broad or narrow depends not on how many people you know, but on how many you can tolerate. Accepting losses doesn't necessarily mean you lose out. Eventually, there will be compensation. People who are willing to yield lose nothing but pride. They gain people's hearts, thus becoming truly noble. No matter how wonderful you are, you can't please everyone. No matter how well you live, you'll still be praised by some and criticized by others. No matter how successful you are, the world will judge it, some positively and some negatively. If some admire you, others will resent you. If some envy you, others will disregard you. That's how life is. You cannot satisfy everyone. Thus, don't compromise yourself just to please others. Everyone needs principles and self-respect. Who you are in others' eyes will be many versions, but who you are in your own eyes is just one. Being that best version of yourself is enough. Because even though our eyes look alike, our perspectives differ. Our mouths are similar, but each speaks differently. Our hearts share the same structure, yet our thoughts vary vastly. Our money is the same, but how we spend it depends on preference. Right or wrong, good or bad, depends on our standpoint. Change the situation, and the viewpoint changes too. We're all human, but each individual has their own way of living. Trust in your own 2 feet. Eagles fly without applause, wild grass grows without care, mountain flowers bloom unnoticed, yet still spread fragrance. Work doesn't need everyone's understanding, only your best effort. Being a person doesn't require everyone's approval, only an honest and generous attitude. Different flowers have innumerable shapes, but can still bloom freely, unimpeded. In life, each person follows their own style. Why not help each other progress instead of undermining one another? If you feel it's worthy, treasure it. If you're happy, hold on to it. If someone makes you feel joyful, stay close to them. If you feel moved, cherish them. Living as a person, if we say it's easy, it's not necessarily simple to touch thousands of hearts or to control the world's gossip. Of course, that's not easy. If we say it's hard, it may not be that hard. Just keep a kind heart, be a good person, and walk your path. One lifetime isn't very long. Since we're already here, why not live it beautifully? Practice giving more. People connect through the heart. If you treat someone kindly, they will certainly notice and respond in their own way. So don't demand too much. Reduce your demands on others, increase them on yourself. The fewer desires we have, the fewer worries, the easier it is to dissolve hatred. Life is like a wisp of smoke. We arrive empty-handed and depart the same way. Forgiving others is also liberating yourself. Hence, live more simply. Life isn't complicated. Let's practice living as simply as we can. Spend more time caring for loved ones, sharing joys, then we'll sense the meaning of life. If the span of life is counted by breaths, then each life, long or short, ultimately fits into 5 days. The day before yesterday, yesterday, today, tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow. Live each day with meaning. Appreciate the day before yesterday. The past can't be changed. All we can do is be grateful for being alive. Be thankful to parents who brought us into this beautiful world, enabling us to witness fresh dawns, admire peaceful sunsets, marvel at life's wonders, and relish its joys. Review yesterday. The path we've walked has had happiness, success, as well as pain and failure. Wherever mistakes were made, we can correct them. Yesterday's failures form the foundation of tomorrow's success. We can't skip learning, and we must never reject growth. Focus on today, value the present, study diligently, work hard, and step firmly forward. Yesterday is gone, tomorrow has not arrived, so we only have this very moment here and now. If we sow carefully, we'll reap the harvest tomorrow. Strive for tomorrow. The future is full of promise, mesmerizing like a dream. Ideally, we plant seeds now so that tomorrow they blossom. No need to fear the future. If we've made efforts in the past and present, our tomorrow will surely be bright. Thus, there's no need to worry. This natural law unfolds just like day and night that can't be separated. Every single day of our lives is worth cherishing. Don't waste time regretting yesterday's hesitations or passively waiting for tomorrow. Living fully in each moment ensures we don't betray life's purpose. In life, gains and losses coincide. Giving doesn't always yield immediate returns. Life has its own way of operating. The future lies ahead, as long as we stride forward. Let's free ourselves to soar, move past pain and entanglements, to be a cheerful soul. Forget about years and age. Don't let time make us old and weary. Regardless of our age, what matters is feeling young at heart. Overcome temptation, for it's only external and limited. Most people want some amount of fame or fortune and scramble for it. When things don't go as expected, they blame life's unfairness. In truth, a simple life is the greatest happiness, and we all need a friend. Wealth can't stay with us forever, but a true friend might be a lifelong treasure. Best is to have a soulmate, someone you can turn to when feeling lonely. Yet finding a genuine friend isn't easy, so quality friendships matter more than quantity. Build a refuge within yourself. When troubles arise, give yourself space to let your mind settle. Look at the tiny roadside flowers. They might be small, but they bloom brightly, decorating life. Suddenly, the world feels more beautiful. Thinking positively, live a life of joy. We came into this world fundamentally for 2 things. One is complete, and only one remains, so there's no rush. Whatever is meant to come will come. When it's done, it departs. Waiting or hoping gains nothing. A wise person doesn't live by others' words, nor fears others' scrutiny. All that matters is understanding your own heart, observing your good and bad traits, and gradually transforming them. This too is a way to practice. The greatest emptiness in life is having no spiritual refuge, not knowing where you are headed. Whether you realize it or not, whether you accept it or not, if there is only goodness in your heart, nothing can upset you. If you are truly kind within, you'll never worry or get angry at anyone. If your lifestyle is genuinely simple, then no matter how chaotic the world gets, you won't be swayed. Being a good person keeps your body healthy, your mind serene, and your sleep restful. Doing good deeds is acknowledged by heaven, earth, and respected by the gods. Without suspicion, the world isn't cold. Without discrimination, the world isn't distant. Without anger, the skies are always warm. Without conflict, the seas remain calm. True tranquility isn't just sitting still for hours, but calmly observing all things, hearing even the faint sounds of plants sprouting. Lasting peace arises from within. It cannot be found through outer seeking. Throughout our lives, we toil and struggle, yet at the end, we can't take even a blade of grass with us. We cling and gather our whole lives, but in the end, we leave it all behind. Regardless of wealth or poverty, once we've traveled our life's path, we must say a final goodbye. So while we still have time, let's live wholeheartedly and value the people we hold dear. Don't chase after superficial worldly standards. One lifetime is short indeed. Countless people promise to live to 100. In the blink of an eye, they've passed away. Others separate from a close friend, and by the next morning, they're worlds apart. Thus, while we have time, let's not cause regret. Don't overthink, don't overanalyze, don't demand too much. Life inevitably includes some disappointments and people we don't get along with. If we can't let go or overlook these, we'll be stuck in endless troubles. Between people, closeness can turn distant. Between tasks, complexity can become simplicity. Between feelings, depth can turn shallow. Don't expect others to treat you in a special way, and don't hope they'll stop scheming. Some people talk little, but do a lot. Others speak grandly, yet do nothing. Don't mind them, just mind yourself. Do what needs doing, follow your chosen path, uphold kindness and sincerity, be tolerant of others, strict with yourself, and let the rest follow its own destiny. If there's no affinity between you and someone, saying more is pointless. Where there is affinity, simply showing up is enough to awaken their senses. Some issues cease to matter once clarified. Some people fade into the past after a few days of anger. Some pains dissolve into foam once you begin to smile. Some circumstances make you stronger after you suffer a bit. Sometimes what seems huge today will be trivial tomorrow. What's vital this year becomes secondary next year. What's monumental this lifetime may be mere legend in the next. Each of us is at most a chapter in someone else's story. Hence, in life or work, if something displeases you, remind yourself, today will end and tomorrow will come. Let it all go and start afresh each new day. In this world, some things won't change even if you care deeply. It may be beyond your power. Life has no if only, but only consequences and outcomes. How you shape your life depends on you. No one else can decide for you. Growing up means learning to face it all with a smile.